put it on. Okay, so we're going to do a nice sequence of poses that just give us a sense of refreshment after a busy and a long day. So get your extra blanket on top of your mat if you've got one handy. Don't worry if you haven't. It's just something that kind of creates the feeling of, well, bed really, kind of the feeling of the type of relaxation that you get when you hit the sack. So have a bolster for underneath your knees, have a couple of blocks for underneath your feet, and then get your blanket for underneath your head. If you've got something to cover your eyes with, then use that. So like one of these eye cushions, so you can get these really cheap, and they just kind of cover your eyes and put a little bit of weight on your eyes as well. So just lay yourself down, just stretch out along the floor. Now remember that this type of yoga, restorative yoga, is effectively the antithesis of our other type of yoga. So the whole point here is that we relax rather than extend. That also means that it's not an exercise in stillness. Stillness is helpful, but sometimes you have to just adjust the equipment underneath you. Make sure that you feel like you're in a good straight line. So if the pose is uncomfortable, then adjust until it's comfortable. Close your eyes, and if you can cover your eyes, then all the better. Just allow yourself to gently release into the floor. So relaxation doesn't necessarily come straight away. So allow yourself to just be here. Let go of the muscles of the arms and of the legs. Unhook the muscles of the arms. Unhook the muscles of the legs. Give yourself permission to be here, to commit to this practice of relaxation and restoration and rejuvenation. Listen to the sound of your breath as it enters and as it exits. Soften your jaw and your tongue. Focus on listening to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Just enjoy that freeing sensation, that just laying on the floor brings to the body after a busy day. So it's just enjoying and indulging in the pleasure of relaxation. Draw your attention into the soles of the feet. And consciously relax the soles of your feet. Consciously draw your attention to the tops of your feet. So that the skin on the tops of the feet comes to life, feeling as though it becomes more vital and alive. And consciously soften and relax the top of the foot. Letting the muscle and the skin and the bones relax. Draw your attention into your shins. And allow your shins to sink into the bed of the calf muscle, relaxing the shins. Draw your attention into your knees, into the kneecaps. Draw your attention into your kneecaps and allow the kneecaps to completely soften and relax, sinking the kneecap into the back of the knee. Draw your attention into your thighs. Draw your attention into your thighs and allow your thighs to sink, the fronts of the thighs to sink in towards the backs of the thighs. so that the legs become entirely immobile and gently soft. Draw your attention into your pelvis. And allow the pelvic region to completely release into the floor. And then consciously soften and relax the muscles and the bones around the pelvis. Draw your attention into the torso, the abdomen and the ribs and the shoulders. And consciously soften the muscle and the bones and the skin around the torso, allowing the body to become heavy on the floor. Draw your attention into your arms, the upper arms and the lower arms, the palms of the hand and the fingertips. And release your arms completely into the floor. Consciously release the muscles and the bones of the arms and the upper arms and the forehead. Sorry, the upper arms and the lower arms and the palms of the hands. Draw your attention into your neck and into your head. And then consciously soften the muscles around the neck muscles and the skin and the bone around the neck and around the crown of the head, stretching the skin down from the crown of the head to the forehead to the chin. Just allowing the skin, the muscles and the skull and the neck to completely soften and release. Softening in a blissful state of relaxation. Just basking in the glow of positive energy, that feeling of lightness from the inside. Basking in the glow of release and the energy that comes from letting go. In a moment, we're going to bring ourselves out of this basic relaxation pose. So when you're ready, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Bend your knees, just have your feet on the bolster, keep your knees together. And then just gently roll onto your side and sit yourself up. So we'll use our side lie-in stretch, the one that we worked with last week, just to kind of bring a little bit of openness and energy. So one way of setting yourself up is to have two bolsters, one on top of the other. If you haven't got two bolsters, then you can just use one bolster with some blocks just underneath it, just to kind of higher it up a little bit. So you've got your bolster, got your blocks, and that's all you need. So just have whatever you've got handy. And we're just going to come into this just to kind of stretch ourselves out along the side. So you come down onto your side, just have the bolster in the kind of in the side abdomen area, and then just stretch out your legs and stretch out your arms. So you can just let go. You can gently stretch out, or you can just let yourself go. Just let the legs kind of hang in down to the floor. Let the arms stretch away. Just feel that tremendous stretch along the top side of the body. So really nice open stretching pose. So it can be quite intense, especially on the side of the body that's supported by the bolster. So if it's too strong, just adjust, just shuffle down a little so that the bolster is more in your hip than in your ribs or in your abdomen, and just try and find a position that is comfortable to stay. Maybe hook the front foot in front of the back foot, or vice versa. Just see what feels most doable for you, or keep your feet just one on top of the other. So this is a slightly more active pose, just from a kind of a balancing perspective. Don't overwork it. You have to stretch out your legs just a little, just to keep the balance. Just observe how this pose permits deeper breathing. Okay, and then bend your knees. Just bring one hand onto the mat in front of you, and then just roll onto your front, and then just shuffle yourself around to the other side and down onto the other side. So just have the bolster in the abdominal area, side abdomen, and then just stretch yourself out. Again, just letting yourself yield to the gravity of the pose. Just observe how you naturally just find this sense of deeper breathing. Okay, bring the top arm just onto the mat in front of your face a little, and then roll onto your front, and then just bring yourself up onto your knees, and then sit back on your heels. So for this next pose, it's nice to have two. Again, if you've got two bolsters, layer them up like this. So you've got one alongside the other. If you haven't got two bolsters, don't worry, you can just layer some kind of blocks along like this. You might need a couple of if you've got 4 blocks, then that will probably be better. So you've just got a kind of a firm basis for your legs to go along. So you've got your kind of legs on there. So if you've got 2 bolsters, then you can use one, then the other. Then get your belt, and you're going to sit on the bolster and then get the belt into a loop, and then get the belt around the tops of your legs, and just tie the belt around the tops of you can do it around the shins actually, that might be even better. Just put it around the shins. Then you're gonna just come down onto your back. So your back kind of rolls so that your lower back is on the bolster, but your upper back kind of rolls off the bolster, like you're doing a kind of a setu banda shape. So just bring your shoulders down onto the floor, and then just let the feet fall into the belt. So the belt around your shins. So it's our supported bridge pose. So try and be up on the tops of your shoulders as much as you can. You can just put a blanket under your shoulders and your head if the bolster's too kind of chunky for your shoulders. Shuffle down a little. Remember, the important thing here is comfort. Bolster around the shins, just hold your legs in position. Close your eyes and allow yourself to just release into the floor. Again, maintain that sense of deeper inhalations, deeper exhalations. Okay, to bring yourself out of the pose, just very gently bend your knees and just see if you can slide the belt off your feet and then bring the feet down onto the floor. And then you can just gently bring your two knees closer together and then just gently roll off the lifted bolster, and then just bring yourself up into the seated position. So just sit in cross legs for a moment, just feel how those poses bring lightness and energy. Just observing that feeling of lightness. And then to finish off, we'll do our surfboard pose. So just come down onto your front with your bolster. Have a block for your head, and then on top of that block, put your folded blanket so that you've got a support for your head. If you've got something to put underneath your shins, then it's good to have a little kind of bolster for underneath your shins. Otherwise, just lay yourself down onto the bolster. Make sure that your chin is free of the end of the bolster. Put the support underneath your head, and then just rest your arms on the floor, shoulders, elbows slightly above your shoulders, just resting your hands on the floor. Just feeling the release of the shoulders into the neck. Softening of the chest. Just let yourself release down into the floor. Okay, push your hands into the floor underneath your shoulders and then just lift yourself up onto your knees. And for the last minute or two, just come back into your basic relaxation pose. So the blanket underneath your head, blocks underneath your feet, bolster underneath your knees. Just allow yourself to just re-release into the floor. Just feeling how your energy feels opening, laying on your back, how it opens up. Just observe the feeling of lightness that rises to the uppermost skin. Direct that feeling of lightness down into the tip toes, into the fingertips, into the top of the head, using the breath to distribute the energy. Okay, when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, just bend your knees, have your feet on the bolster, just let the knees sit together for a moment. And then drive your knees in toward your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a little grounding massage on the spine. And then gently roll onto your side, onto your right side. And then straighten out the top leg. Just bring yourself up into the seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in the masti. Just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose down into the abdominal region. Be conscious of the energy that you released through your gentle practice this evening. Draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside and then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then very gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you've just given yourself a really good stretch out, even though the poses are kind of really super gentle, but you just release your energy just through relaxing. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.